experience can be. In 2006, I too was convicted of a felony, but I'm grateful that in 2010, I was able to get my medical license reinstated in full. That's why I'm here, to provide you with the crucial information every day. With knowledge and preparation, together, these will help you build the confidence you need to navigate these challenging times. Department of Justice and the FBI have been asking questions. And once that comes to your attention, their case is mostly complete and they already have a 98% conviction rate. What is the conviction rate? They want the prosecutor wants prison time. However, knowledge is power, knowing what to do, and I'm providing all of this and putting it in your hands. Taking the next step and delaying will have serious consequences and is at your peril. So, what is your next step? Your future is at stake. I've been through it, others like myself have, which is why it's critical to hire a legal defense team who has federal criminal defense in federal court and a proven track record of successfully defending cases like yours. Don't just settle for experience. Choose a team that can get you the best outcome, but also where you feel that it's a good fit for you. Because making the correct choices today can help you move forward with confidence tomorrow. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call and consider engaging my services at 240-888-7778. This is your life and your future. Whether you're going to a camp for sentences less than 10 years or if you have a longer sentence, doesn't matter. It lays the groundwork for a smoother transition towards being released. Once you are released, as well as building goodwill with your current and future stakeholders, case managers in prison, residential reentry managers in halfway houses, and your probation officer during supervised release, a release plan and your narrative will be paying you dividends. And it will be frustrating along the way. There'll be those that will ignore you or tell you they don't care, or will take your release plan and throw it in the trash. But just continually be persistent. So reentry planning, why is it crucial? First of all, your judge is going to ask you what's your plan to not return to their courtroom again. In some frame or fashion, they're going to get that out as a question to you. And they want to know. They don't want to see you again in the courtroom. Trust me, they don't. Trust them when they tell you. Plus, it allows you to begin your allocution with the judge. Going forward, having a release plan is what all halfway houses want to see, as well as your case managers. For you to exceed, you need to begin thinking and writing about your plan before the pre-sentence interview, as it will continue to grow beyond release. And so, even though it seems premature before your interview, at least you know that in hindsight, you accept responsibility for what you did. You understand that you have victims and that you need to make amends to the victims first, community second, your family, and the court. But it all starts with planning before you get to your pre-sentence interview. Release planning or preparing for release should be a natural step and can be broken into parts, starting with a release plan that's included in your narrative to the fully mature plan, that you have been writing while in prison up to your release date. While the system can help, the most significant impact comes from self-advocating and taking charge of your own future, your own life, your own situation, paving the way for your success. It isn't easy to remain focused on your plans and goals because it's not. I mean, people will tell you to leave the outside on the outside, which they did to me, and concentrate just on the inside. But there's also going to be cell phones, drugs, frustration, disappointment, and sometimes, feeling of just kind of lost hope. I had another thought and lost it. You're not alone, though. Each one of us who has made it to the other side has a similar story to tell. Oh, what I was going to say is that, if you're a white collar guy, woman, guy, did you ever think years ago you would be facing federal prison? Probably not. And so you need to be, that's why you need to be focused and know there's going to be cell phones. And if you break down and use a cell phone, 10 months later, they find the phone and it has a phone number from your contact list. You can kiss all of your efforts goodbye. Release plan 104 before your pre-sentence interview. You have had time to think about your indictment and the chain of events that led to your interview. You've either pled guilty or lost at trial. As your pre-sentence interview date nears, you've been working, hopefully, on your narrative, and it's almost finished. What are your thoughts regarding your charges? You may not have considered your actions at the time as bad as they were, but only to show now and acknowledge your guilt. Or as you've heard about your indictment, you knew that you were guilty and told your attorney, which may have saved you time in prison and legal fees, lots of legal fees. Acknowledging the victims you have harmed and having remorse for your actions is a good start. Being introspective. Reviewing your investigation, criminal charge, trial, or plea deal, to think, I didn't realize how bad my decisions were and how much pain they inflicted on the victims I created were as a result of my actions. But putting that into your own words, that is kind of a way to begin. If you're already at this point and don't have the time to wait for my future videos, give me a call. We can discuss your situation one-on-one. Once again, my number is 240-888-7778. Next part of the lease plan 2 before sentencing hearing, building and after giving more thought to and expanding on part 1. This is how it's incorporated into your allocution, where lawyers nationwide agree that judges want to hear from you. The attorney is going to send in your memorandum, but judges want to hear from the defendant, from you. The lease plan 3, once inside, this is where your routine journaling and documenting everything that you do regarding your personal growth and development grows. You're going to write about each first step back class you take and what you have learned. Find something you've learned in each class and stick it into a journal, a log, something you can get from Amazon cheaply. I'm going to eventually have one on Amazon when I have time to put that together. But you want to include in by day, date, and time every class, everything that you do constructive that you've been working on in areas of interest to you, including maybe you're mentoring others or teaching a class. This all becomes part of your release down, writing down everything that you do, surf paper from, in a soft paperback notebook from Amazon. Because the Federal Bureau of Prisons is used to getting in everything from Amazon, as we all are, will allow you to document everything you do for future reference. This then can be sent home on true links or through email or writing, and then someone at home can enter it into an online blog on a website that you started, where you have paid for your name, the domain name of your name, which your probation officers and BOP staff and other stakeholders, both in and outside of prison, may eventually read. Plus, updated copies can be given to your case manager at your meeting and put into your file for the record. Will this help for an earlier release or a recommendation halfway house? Maybe, but nobody has guarantees. It also, though, can help in building your reputation on home before you get home. If someone begins to take your name on a website you own, and if Substack is a company where you can essentially cheaply begin to put your blogs or your journal articles, and all they have to do from home is type it in once a week, twice a week, on some sort of regularity. Your first meeting with your probation, or rather your case manager, try and always be respectful. Ask if they're willing to look at your release plan. Never demand, no attitude. Please leave the attitude somewhere else. Writing a release plan, why? With no release plan, why should a case manager recommend you for Second Chance Act, which will give you more time in a halfway house or home confinement? If you don't appear to be caring about your future, which is how they will view it, why should stakeholders spend extra time on you? With no release plan, why should a case manager recommend you to a residential reentry manager to get released to a halfway house to take up one of their limited number of halfway house beds? With no release plan, then why should the residential reentry manager take a chance on you when someone else is applying with a great release plan for that one bed? If someone has taken the time to think about it, write a release plan that has reviewed their progress during their time in prison, that explains why they need the halfway house time and how they will use it constructively in rebuilding their life while in halfway house and then home confinement. If you were the residential reentry manager, who would you choose? The Bureau of Prisons case managers' recommendations are important to these residential reentry managers, as they need to know that they're bringing a qualified person who can continue their reentry successfully back into the community. These residential reentry managers of halfway houses do not need on their record that they had to return someone to the Bureau of Prisons due to a rule violation. They want successful people leaving and reentering society. Plus, they're employees. And so if they have a lot of people that are having to send back to prison, it doesn't help them look good in the people that they are responsible to. Release plan 4, approximately 18 months or so before you release. Let's see here. Before you release, details what you'll be doing once released. This can be started by following the examples of forms developed by Rikers Island to the Minnesota Department of Corrections, the National Institute Corrections Manual, and the Release Plan Prep Guide. And all of these you can find on my website that I'll give you the link to when we come to the end of this. All of this will, or should, as nothing is guaranteed, make you appear a better candidate for halfway house. These beds are limited, and residential reentry managers want to fill these beds with people who will enter society successfully. Is this you? And To engage my services, have your concerns answered, call me today at 240-888-7778. This is my cell phone, and I personally answer and return all calls. You can also get additional information, especially regarding Rikers Island, the Release Plans of Minnesota Department of Corrections, National Institute of Correction Manual, and the Release Plan Prep Guide, all on my website at pprsus.com. That's P as in Paul, P as in Paul, R as in Robert, S as in Sam, US.com. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this longer video today. Have a good day.